Is Carson Hocevar the dirtiest NASCAR driver racing right now? Let's talk about it here on Stuck in the Catch Fence. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful July 4th. Remember, one night of fun is not worth having 8 fingers. That's what I always say. Put it in reverse, Terry. And let's have a wonderful, safe 4th of July. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's happened over the past weekend, and actually the past few years. There's a driver that I really like. I think is very, very talented, and I think has an opportunity to be a really, really good driver one day. But unfortunately, with this driver comes a lot of baggage. And on Tuesday, after this past weekend's race at Nashville, Carson Hocevar was deducted 25 points and fined $50,000 for intentionally wrecking Harrison Burton under the caution. Not just intentionally wrecking him, but right rear hooking him. So my question to you, after all the things that we've seen in NASCAR, all the people that we talk about being a dirty driver, can't do this, can't do that, is Carson Hocevar actually the dirtiest driver in NASCAR? I mean, when you look at what he's done, the timeline, and this isn't a one-off case. Does a $50,000 fine, 25 points, is that good enough for this one incident? Yeah, I think so. If you're going to right hook somebody, to me, you should be automatically suspended. I said that with Chase Elliott. I said that with Bubba Wallace. Those precedents were set. I don't care if it was under the caution flag or not. People were on the backstretch trying to slow down. There's no reason why when you right hook someone that you don't get parked for a race. The magnitude of what can possibly go wrong, sending somebody up into traffic or in headfirst into the wall, is catastrophic. Not just for the driver, but for other drivers involved too. So I'll stand pat on that. I think the penalty on that from NASCAR was too light, and I think they could have done more for right hooking somebody. But then you include everything on top of it. At Bristol, he was going about 30, 40 miles per hour on the track, trying to get a caution because he wore his tires out and finally spun himself out to bring out a caution. The previous week, he was, again, had a low tire, needed a caution, and spins himself out. If you intentionally bring out a caution, that is supposed to be a penalty. And then the worst of the worst is when you look back last year, at least the worst of the worst to me, racing for a championship, he wrecks out the leader that in turn causes him to wreck as well. I believe it was Corey Heim at the time that was leading the race. And I know on that one you could say it's a racing incident and he pretended to be all mad and pretended to be all upset. But Carson Hocevar has put himself in situations time and time and time again, to the point that he's even had to go on separate shows, separate YouTube channels to apologize for his actions, and Valley won't do him again. The problem being, as until now, he's never really been punished for doing these things. He's just been given a pass. It's almost like because he's a really, what seems like down-to-earth, nice person, that NASCAR has had a hard time finding him. They've turned the other cheek. They've looked the other way. But we're now to the point where we're feeling that we can right hook somebody. And that is a problem with NASCAR, allowing it to get to this point. It's a problem with Carson Hocevar not self-policing himself to this point. And it's overall just something that we're seeing out of younger drivers not racing with older drivers in the lower series to allow this stuff to go on. I promise you this. If Carson Hocevar had to race with Kyle Busch in the lower series more, Kevin Harvick in the lower series more, William Byron, Kyle Larson in Xfinity, even though Carson Hocevar never raced in Xfinity, that would have never happened. The respect would have been earned from those higher up drivers that they would have never allowed that stuff to happen. Why does he do it to somebody like Harrison Burton? Because Harrison Burton's only 23 years old. He's only 2 years older than Carson Hocevar. You think he would have got away with that if he did that to Matt Crafton? Absolutely not. Corey Heim, again, a younger driver, he ends up wrecking and cost him a championship. Which in turn, when Corey Heim retaliated, costed Grant Enfinger a championship. By NASCAR not allowing, by putting in the Kyle Busch rule, These younger drivers do not come up with the same type of racecraft. They're skipping the Xfinity series altogether, some of them, but they're not coming up with the racecraft to know what it takes to ride and drive against these better drivers. Yes, I remember hearing all the bitching, all the moaning and complaining all the time about Kyle Busch being in the lower series. John Hunter Nemechek, now in Xfinity Series, wins. It seems like every time he gets into the car. Kyle Larson is very competitive every time. But these things, while you think are stealing a trophy away from these younger guys, it actually gives them a taste of what it takes to race with the Cup guys on Sunday, beat them fair and square, and more importantly, know how to race around them and understand what it takes development-wise to be better in this sport. And by skipping that opportunity, by not allowing those chances to happen, we then get a Carson Hocevar who comes into the Cup Series at 21 years old and thinks he can do whatever the hell he wants at any given time. Oh, I'm upset about something. Right hook. No. This isn't hockey where you can just throw the gloves off and try to land a couple punches once or two times until you fall down on ice. This isn't baseball where you beam somebody in the butt cheek. This is NASCAR. These guys are going over 140 to 150 miles an hour. Arguably the greatest driver in this sport died from a wreck, similar to what would happen if you right hook somebody up into a wall. Sure, safety has been a much better part of it, but we also still have crashes that eliminate the careers early of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch. Does Harrison Burton, at 23 years old, deserve to have a career-ending concussion because Carson Hocevar wants to throw a little piss match, a little temper tantrum? No. And I would have loved to see Harrison Burton go up and knock the living hell out of Carson Hocevar after doing something like that, or a crew member, or somebody stick up for him, even if he is a lame duck ride. I like Carson Hocevar. I think he's going to be really, really good. But I will not stand by listening to this crap. And I know some people are going to say, well, you're a Kyle Busch fan. Look what he did to Ron Hornaday. I understand that. Didn't think it was right for Kyle Busch to do that. A little bit of things preceding up to that in terms of Kyle Busch's mind that led up to that. Not defending it. But I still don't I will never respect somebody that right hooks somebody up into the wall. This was on the backstretch where guys are going their fastest. It's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous move. Same thing that Bubba Wallace did. The same thing that Chase Elliott did. That could have really, really, really hurt Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin called Chase Elliott a crybaby. I'm doing the same thing with Carson Hocevar. And at least in those moments of weakness, it was something that, at least for Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott, maybe were emotional, if you want to defend it in the very smallest degree, that was out of character for them to do something like that on the track to retaliate. This is a pattern behavior for Carson Hocevar. And Carson Hocevar is only 21 years old compared to those guys in their late 20s or early 30s. Again, not defending somebody to right hook, but if I'm going to play both sides of it, I will at least listen to both sides of it. To what Carson's doing is not defensible anymore. But it's NASCAR's fault for allowing this to continue to happen. Again, I hope Carson Hocevar turns out to be a good, clean driver, has a really, really good chance to win a championship one day if put in the right situation. He's overexceeded what he can do in a car, and he's got a very good chance at winning Rookie of the Year. Right now he's getting hurt because there's a 30-year-old rookie named Josh Berry that keeps riding cleaner and cleaner race cars to the point that he's going to have a new ride next year. And you just see the difference in their racecraft. Carson Hocevar is a really good driver. He's just got to turn some things around and not turn other people around. So that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you have comments on Carson Hocevar, did I go too far? Do you think that he is a good driver, or do you just think that, he's just another entitled Gen Zer that's going to try to do this any given time because he knows nothing better? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoy the fireworks we brought tonight, you can always like and subscribe to the channel. We enjoy that as well. We'll be here Friday for a live show. That is tomorrow. And break down what's going to happen for the Chicago street race, at least in our minds, and also probably do some iRacing here later on in the week as well. Probably throw up a short later on as well. So again, hopefully you guys have a wonderful, safe July 4th. My name is Ryan Peters. This is Stuck in the Catch Fence. We'll see you next time.